Fear arises from ignorance of the fundamentals of existence. Acquaint yourself with the significance of consciousness, with evolution in infinity, karma and reincarnation, and it will dissolve into nothing. Fear is born of ignorance. In knowledge is the end of fear. Strengthen the awareness of your eternity and immortality. Victory over fear will be the threshold of a new consciousness. What has an immortal to fear? He knows that nobody and nothing can do him any harm. He becomes invincible in spirit. It is beneficial if a person, having realized the invulnerable nature of his spiritual essence, goes on to liberate himself from all fears, because all the objects of fear are really insignificant. Strengthen the awareness of the indestructibility of your true spiritual self. One must know the complete immutability and eternity of life in order to proceed without fear. One must understand the indestructibility of our essential nature in order to place this value upon the scales. Invulnerability is our shield. Each speck of fear is a target for an enemy's arrow. After washing away these shameful specks, we become as invulnerable as are the bodies of the far-off worlds. The development of Agni Yoga becomes a shield of thought. Let man understand that no one can deprive him of his life. Courage is strengthened by the realization that life is indestructible. Certainty about this is the way to fearlessness, and the certainty must be complete to be effective. Always remember, danger exists only in your consciousness. There, within you yourself, it must be defeated. Why? If a wild animal attacks me, that is objectively dangerous, isn't it? Well, in an elevated consciousness, the fear of danger turns into the realization of an obstacle you can use to grow. That is, of an opportunity for advancement you can rejoice in. Think about the meaning of danger. So-called danger is nothing but fear for one's present condition. But if we know that every condition is created by the consciousness, which is indestructible, then there can be no physical fear. The dangers that one customarily fears are dispelled by a broadened consciousness. Therefore, the growth of consciousness is the essential foundation for progress. Then there will be no dangers, there will be only obstacles. Overcoming obstacles is a means for the developing of energy. If the mountain is perfectly smooth, one cannot ascend to the summit. Blessed are the stones that tear the sandals of those who ascend. Assure yourself, therefore, that dangers do not exist. You know how to leap across the abyss. Dangers are joys to you. Establish a firm connection with your spiritual father, your teacher, then nothing can befall you. To those who are seized with fear, say that when the Master lives within the heart, no hair will fall from one's head. Being armed by the Master, one is invulnerable. You are serving the purposes of hierarchy. Consequently, you may trust that you will receive the support you need to fulfill your mission. Very few will think, what is there to be afraid of, since the Brotherhood stands behind us? Precisely such a premise liberates one from fear and brings to light a free, beneficial solution. You are unswervingly pursuing your life's task, your path and your goal. What could possibly detract you from this course? Courage comes from knowing one's path. You have to check again and again in the midst of everyday earthly life to see whether there are still remnants of fear somewhere within you. Let us be honest with ourselves in order to determine where there is fear and where it has been driven out. Then you may consciously set about overcoming them, step by step, with the help of minor everyday exercises. Fearlessness can be developed. One can set oneself tasks of fearlessness instead of imbuing oneself with a feeling of terror. We learn from the lives of the saints, martyrs, spiritual warriors, and tireless fighters for truth and justice. Man will never be truly free until he overcomes fear of death. Until he is firm in the conviction that injuries and even the death of the body cannot harm the core of his being, the immortal soul. As long as man fears death, he is his slave. He who does not fear it masters everything. Once you have experienced this truth in your innermost being, you attain complete freedom of action. He who adheres to the teaching of infinity gains freedom of action, first of all. Whoever is in contact in consciousness with the higher world is steadfast and invincible. He has given freedom to his spirit, which is indestructible and reaching out into infinity. Only now can you wholeheartedly strive for the realization of your high ideals without making undue concessions, if necessary, even at the sacrifice of your life. There exist spirits of high voltage, spirits who charged up their accumulators when manifesting in the past. Their distinguishing feature is a firm awareness that their inner I is indissoluble, and from this consciousness is born the concept of a higher freedom. Fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. How could the common good be promoted in the world if more people were able to adopt this attitude and put petty concerns for their personal welfare aside? When people begged Milarepa, who practiced great austerities, to have pity on himself and stop leading such a hard life, he said that as all of us are subject to death, he preferred to die in pursuit of a beautiful goal. Verily, if even 100 people could realize the wisdom of this formula and would apply it in life, the world could be transformed in the shortest time. It is the overcoming of fear and the freedom gained by that which makes the new man great and strong. In freedom lies thy strength.